In this video, I want to show you another Agentforce success story in the project management area. In this case, we will use the power of Agentforce and Flows combined to generate the draft project status report that the PM can use as a starting point to send to the customer or to use internally. The goal with this is to reduce the time that it takes for the PMs to create the status report, increase accuracy, consistency across the organization, and over time, use this information for predictive analysis. So here I am in my sandbox. I am on Certinia PSA, but this can be PSA agnostic. I created a simple custom object to store the project status report on platform because I want to keep the history on the platform and not just in offline Word documents. This is a typical customization that we see our customers doing. We won't dig too much into it in this video. I'm going to use the same project that we used a couple of weeks ago when we walk you through the SOW Smart Reader and the PSA Project Insights success stories. I recommend that if you didn't check those out after watching this, go to our CLD library and you will find them there. That's in our CLD website. So back to this one though, we are on the project. We start working some weeks ago, I enter my time cards, and now it's time to create the weekly status report for the customer. I'm going to go ahead and click on the Create Status Report, and I'm going to use the dates in July that I know we have nice time cards. We used them before in other use cases, and I'm going to go ahead and click Next. Now there is a lot going on. The screen flow is calling the SOW Smart Reader prompt to understand what is in scope and what is out of scope. A second prompt is analyzing time cards, milestones, and prior status reports to come up with the financial schedule, scope, and overall project status. There are a lot of rules in that prompt to identify when things fall in red, yellow, or the green bucket, and this is the core area where we will work with you to identify the things that matter to your organization, so this makes sense to you. For this example, we use the typical rules that we see in service organizations. There is also an Apex class that is parsing out the prompt response to expose the outcome in the right field status. So as you can see, the agent came back with the different classification for red, yellow, green for the overall project, the financial status, the schedule, the scope. It did not only add the notes, but we put the reasoning. We wanted to give the PMs a little bit of background, make it not a black box, so they can understand why the agent decided to put the classification and the notes that it did. We also have the activities for the period, the upcoming key activities, and this is of course based on SOW time cards and milestones. And this is all editable. So as a PM, I'm the one that knows what's going on. So I can come in here and modify the wording, modify the colors. If I think that things are a little bit worse, I can come in here and say that something is in red, modify the wording, or whatever the case may be. So this is as good as the data behind it. So if the time cards lack of comments, or we don't have a good SOW to understand the scope, or my milestones are totally useless, then odds are this will be inaccurate. Remember that Agentforce needs grounding, needs your data, is not working as a crystal ball. So again, the idea is that the PM can read through this, make adjustments, and use this as a starting point. Now, this is what Agentforce helped me put together. Of course, from here, we can keep going with this process. I mean, that's not where the status report ends. We can decide to either click Next and save this to just store it in the org, but we can also send it to the customer from here. And we added a couple of options to make it a little bit more flexible. So for example, I could decide to send it to the customer, including risk and issues. And I'm gonna go ahead and put my email in here so I don't error out. And if I click Next now, what I'm gonna see is the risk and issues that are in the project. Anything that got closed in the period, anything that got open in the period will have this icon here to kind of indicate that it's newly added or closed in the period. Anything that, of course, was there and was not open or closed in the period just won't have an icon. But from here, I can decide if I want to include this in the status report or not. I'm not going to do this in this demo, but if I keep going, that will get in the email. I'm going to actually show you what happens if we include a PTO and we include the summary. So I'm going to go ahead and click next, and I'm presented with a draft of what could be the email that can go to the customer. I can modify the introduction if I want to. This is exactly what you saw in the other screen, with the addition of the summary of the hours by resource and a little detail here of upcoming PTO. This is based on PTO requested in the org. Again, process-based. We will work with you to understand what that means for you. And if I click send in there now, that is actually sending an email. So let me go to my email and show you what that looks like. So you see that is actually an email coming out. Let's put it up there. Perfect. So as you can see, a real email got sent out. So this is basically the end of the process. At this point, we have the email that went to the customer, and we have the record in the system with the status notes that got calculated, and then I had a chance to modify. So there it is, just Agentforce and Flow together to simplify the generation of project status reports. Let me know your thoughts, especially PMs watching this. I'm really curious to see if this is something that you would like to see in your organization. Thank you for watching.